Here we are with the picks that no one has been waiting for. Doug Lesmerises, Bill Landis, Ari Wasserman. I mean, we all picked Alabama. Who cares what we're going to pick for this game? Ohio State versus Oregon Monday night. National championship game. Ari, this is it. You picked the one loss correctly this year. You said Virginia Tech was going to win. That was right. You've been wrong a couple times. Who do you have, Ducks versus Buckeyes?
As you said, I picked the Virginia Tech loss. Eddie George just walked by and looked at us, and he kind of gave me a look, and I'm not sure. He's like, how could you pick against our Buckeyes? I don't know if that happened.
But you were right that time.
Guy's pretty intimidating. Yeah, but I've been wrong every time since in big games. Picked Michigan State to win, picked Wisconsin to win, picked Alabama to win. I finally believe in Ohio State. And I don't know if you guys want me to believe in Ohio State, but I think that it's just interesting the way that Ohio State has flipped the script, not only with what we perceived of them all season, but the way that the entire future of the program is now perceived after what they did to Alabama. That was the one. I mean, beating Wisconsin, beating Michigan State, very good wins. But beating Alabama, to me, made me feel like I was looking at this team wrong the entire year from a talent, depth, ability standpoint. So I think Oregon obviously is a very different animal, and they do things a different way. But I think Ohio State's going to get what they want on offense because they're going to be able to run the ball. I think that if Ohio State's defense can figure out Oregon's offense, the Ducks could have a long day. My score is 38-27 Ohio State, and I think they win pretty convincingly.
Bill Landis.
I think Eddie George was looking at Doug's shirt.
It's a good shirt.
It's a good shirt.
He might have been looking at the shirt.
I am also picking Ohio State. My score is 48-38. My thinking is I think Alabama, from watching Alabama live and watching Oregon play in the Rose Bowl, which I know isn't a great sample size, I think Alabama is better than Oregon. And I think, aside from the quarterback, I think Alabama might be substantially better than Oregon at the skill positions and on defense. And I look at the matchup with Ohio State and Oregon, I think Ohio State is better at every position aside from the quarterback. And quarterback is important, and Marcus Mariota is the best player in the country.
Every position?
I think every position.
Offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, yes. Safeties, receivers, running backs, tight ends, kickers, punters, long snappers.
I haven't studied the long snappers, so maybe Oregon might have the edge on long snapper. But yeah, no, I'm not like, yeah, I do. I think Ohio State is better at every position other than quarterback. And Marcus Mariota is very good, and he can win a game by himself on most days, I think. But I think Ohio State has the talent to keep him in check. I don't know what keeping Mariota in check means. Maybe he only throws for like 300 yards and 2 touchdowns instead of 400 yards and 9 touchdowns like he normally does. But I just think Ohio State can run the ball in Oregon just like Florida State did. The key is not turn the ball over. Florida State gave Oregon 5 extra possessions in the second half of that game and got blown out in a game that they probably were ahead at one point, and it was close at halftime, and they got smoked because they gave Oregon the ball 5 times in the second half. Ohio State can't do that, obviously, and I don't think they will, because turnovers, while we've talked about them, they haven't necessarily been backbreakers for Ohio State, and they haven't turned them over. They turned it over against Alabama and didn't pay for it. And I think if they turn it over against Oregon, they will pay for it, but I don't think Cardale Jones is going to throw interceptions the way he did against Alabama. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott is going to put the ball on the floor on this big stage. I think Ohio State, everything is kind of breaking their way. Oregon's got guys who aren't playing. Ohio State seems to be hitting its stride with Cardale at quarterback. It just seems – maybe I'm buying into it too much, but things are breaking Ohio State's way, and I think Ohio State is that much better than Oregon that they won by 10 points.
What a long, strange season it has been.
You've been waiting for
that
this.
We just had 2 soliloquies about how Ohio State is going to win the national championship. I am not picking Ohio State, and I am not picking Oregon. I am officially abstaining from a pick because I've been wrong. And I think people have enjoyed me being wrong. People have taken confidence in me being wrong. Ohio State fans have reminded me that I've been wrong. I don't think I can stand up here after picking Ohio State to lose to Cincinnati, Michigan State, Alabama, and Wisconsin and tell you that I think Ohio State's going to win the national championship. But I can't stand here and tell you that I think they're not going to win the national championship. At the beginning of the year, in a preseason predictions in August, I picked Marcus Mariota to win the Heisman Trophy, and I picked Oregon to win the national championship. Ohio State is such a different team from what I thought they were going to be. I've lost it a little bit in evaluating the Buckeyes in the context of everybody else. It seems like everything is breaking Ohio State's way. Oregon has more injuries. Oregon got a guy suspended. The Buckeyes have adapted to all the things that have gone wrong for them. They're loose. They're confident. It feels like an Ohio State kind of game, which then makes me think, well, then I've thought everything's not an Ohio State game, and I was wrong. So if I think Ohio State's going to do well, then they're probably going to lose. So I'm not going to pick. I'm not going to be right. I'm not going to be wrong. I'm going to watch the game and see what happens because, frankly, my opinion at this point in the year is basically worthless. So, with that, this is it. We've done our outrageous predictions for the year. We've done our picks for the year. Thanks, as always, for following with us all along here at cleveland.com. For Ari, for Bill, I'm Doug. Monday night, National Championship, Oregon and Ohio State.